Welcome to the New York subway. That's what the vandals do. Beautiful graffiti everywhere.
These cars were originally built as open-end elevated cars and used in Manhattan. Much later they were brought to Coney Island shops, closed in, side doors.
That is New York on Broadway Junction platform, looking down on the building where Richard works. That's the one with those square ventilators on the roof. Quite a large carriage yard over there. Richard, what are all those trains doing over there?
That actually is a storage yard. Across the back, what you'll see is an inspection shed. They do light running repairs and what have you there. And they're all being they're all waiting right now for rush hour. They will be pulled out of there very shortly.
There's quite a...
This is also the cesspool of the world here.
There's also quite a magnificent collection of curves and levels of track. We're here on one level here, there's another one below it, and of course there's that ramp right up and over.
Interestingly enough, there's a subway line that runs underneath this entire mess too.
Yeah, so that's three levels.
One line, the second track from your right is a yard lead. The track to the extreme right is a Jamaica line eastbound. The two tracks to your left are Jamaica line westbound local and Jamaica line westbound express. This line over here that's coming across the top of this whole mess, and it's really, really high up, and it's really quite spidery and shaky when you do it on a heavy train, is the connection between the Canarsie line and the Broadway line. And at one time on a Saturday, the old Fulton Street wooden L cars used to come around there, and they terminated right here at East New York. Here comes one coming out of the tunnel if you swing around. Down to the end of the platform, there's a Canarsie Line train coming up from Atlanta. Here it comes out of Atlantic Avenue. The train going away from you is a train bound for Rockaway Parkway, Canarsie Line. If you'll pan over to your left real fast now, keep going, keep going, keep going. There's an inbound Jamaica Line train. He's going to Broad Street, Manhattan. And if you come back to the center of the photo when you want, that's a westbound Canarsie Line train for 8th Avenue starting up the hill now. That viaduct up there where the cars are going across is where the Long Island Railroad surfaces to get over the New York Connecting Railroad. That's also the East New York station of the Long Island Railroad. This tower that you see in the background, D.O. Tower, will be coming out of service very shortly as this new one goes in. If you look straight down, it's an employee's parking lot. Way in the distance across the top is the IRT New Lots Avenue line. You'll see the train going right across the top, the white train. Okay, don't stop, pan down. Those lower curves that you see with no track on them anymore were the original Fulton Street elevated that turned here west and went down Fulton Street and eventually ended up going over the Brooklyn Bridge. Way in the background we can see another westbound Canarsie Line train coming up. You just see the headlights over the canopy of the station there. That's Atlantic Avenue Station in the distance. Train going across.
Escape this delightful decoration.
Delightful? More like horrible.
Last cars were built by transit service. Crossing in front of us, you'll see a Myrtle Avenue line train from Metropolitan Avenue that's come out of New York City.
And the public train, how big it will be, something like that.
All like trains.
Oh man,
sound of the train in the band.
And I'll save you tape because we're going to make some real fancy turns before we get on the bridge. Get 2 more stops. As we come up toward the approach to the Williamsburg Bridge, we see an eastbound local train for Jamaica that's coming off the bridge. In the middle of the right-of-way, you will also notice a tower behind the train. At one time, there was a spur that went down to a ferry. This was called the Sand Street Spur. That was, I may add, the original part of the line. Went straight ahead. They are at this point having some problems with the bridge, so during the day the train only operates as far as here and turns back, and the passengers are bused across the bridge. Okay, now we're going to start over the Williamsburg Bridge. This spans the East River. It's a suspension type bridge. It's built in the early 1900s. Down below us you can see Bridge Plaza perhaps. This is where a number of bus lines terminate. At one time trolley cars and trolley coaches terminated here too, and it was quite a place to see things. I'll also add that the standard train length on this line is 8 cars, which would be 4 married pairs. As you look out the front of the train, you'll see all green signals ahead of you until we get to about the middle of the bridge. Then you'll see a signal that's red with a white light under it. These are actually timer signals to prevent the train from coming off the bridge and going across the middle of the span too fast. Also coming up are a set of expansion joints in the track. Because on a hot summer day, it's quite possible for this bridge to expand in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 feet. If you look down to a track level on the left side of the picture, you'll see the heavy third rail that's powering our train. It has a voltage of approximately 630. And the circuit breakers for each individual section are set for between 2,000 and 3,000 amps depending upon the section. On the roadways right alongside of us to the left and the right where you see automobiles now, it was once private right-of-way for trams. As I said, I might have mentioned earlier, this is the evening peak rush hour right now. Our train does have passengers on it, but very probably the train behind us is an equipment move to the west. Since they don't have the track capacity westbound in the rush hour, they'll just run the trains empty to get them to New York, so that they can bring them out as loaded passenger trains. Oh my, we have a treat. Here comes an R40. Passing us right now is an Type R40. They were purchased about 1970, and they were one of the most trouble-free cars the Transit Authority ever had in recent years. I don't see the timers on. Yeah, see the white S underneath the signal indicates the signal is operating as a speed control mode. As we go down into the tunnel, we'll make a very sharp right-hand curve, and to the left of us was the trolley terminal. We also go from 2 to 3 tracks at this point, and beyond the station out to 4 tracks for a 2-track stop terminal at Canal Street for short-turn trains. The yellow-green indicates that we should go through the main lines, through a switch, and we'll be taking the main line routing, but at an approach-type speed. The yellow group of lights alongside the platform indicates a temporary speed restriction. You'll find quite a few of these throughout the system now because of a rash of derailments in this year.
This is the newest extension to the subway system. It opened about 2 years ago apparently. It was really more of a deviation than anything else. But the station's quite clean, and oops, you're out of focus. And as are all the trains, which you'll see in due course, I hope. Don't know what that is, but I spent a few hours riding around yesterday, and we've just started off today, and I haven't seen any graffiti on the outside of trains or on the inside, or even any evidence of where it's been scrubbed off. As well as that, they've got a program of noise abatement, and all these clean cars are free of flats. I only heard one car yesterday with flats on one axle as it went past, and apparently such vehicles are taken out of service straight away for wheel grinding. Quite an improvement. The only mess you usually see now is papers and things that people have thrown on the floor since the car was last cleaned, possibly a few hours beforehand. vibrations from that second train.
Street will be next, please stay clear.